is where a new idea moved in. At Ford of Dagenham, all plans for car production were recast in 1948, and a new criterion of the road was set: 5-star motoring. The first results, the Consul and the Zephyr 6, present you with an overwhelming fact. Within a few years of their introduction, 1 of every 3 new cars in the United Kingdom was a Ford, while at the same time exports increased. The Consul was awarded the Tulip Rally in 1952 against the pick of international competition. And a year later, the grueling Monte Carlo Rally was won by the Zephyr 6. World approval of these cars encouraged Ford to bring their advantages to light car motoring. On the left is the new Prefect. On the right, the new Anglia. Retaining from the past only their famous names, these cars now belong to the 5-star class. But let me tell you what lies behind their appearance. In the beginning, Ford set out to create light cars to compete in price and running costs with the smallest models on the market. They had to give them the speed and comfort of bigger and more expensive cars. It's by no means a simple matter. Sufficient to say, however, that while their engineers prepared the overall dimensions, their artists were thinking up appearances for the future. Now, the engineering specifications had been translated into a wood and canvas seating plan. With this, the designers were able to answer a lot of vital questions, vital to you. Could you get into the car with ease? Was there ample room for not only 4 of you, but for the occasional 5th? Was the width wide enough, the height high enough, the length long enough? Did the seats give big car resilience? And how were these and other points affected by the position of the engine, by the suspension? As the designers continued to find the answers with wooden mock-ups and measuring tapes, the picture began to show the shape of things to come. Eventually, a synthesis of art and engineering was reached, and they went ahead with the bodies as a whole. Out of warm clay spread over a wooden frame, they built scale models of the prototypes. These gave form and substance to their ideas and enabled them to decide on the final appearance of the new Anglia and Prefect. So, after many months of work on the original specifications, the first all-metal bodies were built. As Ford prepared to set the fashion in light car motoring, it was like the secret work that goes on behind the scenes among some of the great dress designers. Every single part was made by hand. Only by such care could production in quantity later produce the precision of the present moment. And the same thing applied to making the components for the engine. Whether drilling the support holes in a bracket for the steering linkage, or boring out the main bearing in the cylinder block, every single item was specially machined by highly trained mechanics. It's almost commonplace, I know, to talk about skilled men nowadays, but these men are proud to belong to that category. They are proud of the reputation they've helped to give Ford engines, a reputation for endurance, for reliability. Four cylinders of just over 1 litre capacity. That's the engine they built for both the new models and put through its paces again and again. On test beds, performance was studied in every detail. Studied for the required horsepower, studied for the desired part load characteristics, studied for the lowest possible fuel consumption in all circumstances. Here, every moving part had to withstand far greater stresses than that of normal running conditions. As day followed day and weeks merged into months, there came a time when the power unit had passed all its exacting tests. Then arrived the moment of first assembly. They mounted the engine on a rubber cushioned system to give a smooth, quiet performance. In addition to the easy accessibility of the engine, very few lubrication points made the car simple to maintain. To maintain, that was the operative phrase during the year that followed. to maintain the balance of speed with safety, of comfort with roominess and economy, in a series of proving trials that asked the maximum and gave no mercy. If a car has a cracking point, Ford's test drivers will find it. But what they did find is this: the cornering characteristics of the sports car. High cruising speed, low petrol consumption, rigid strength from the all-steel body, steering that was finger-light after rough driving for mile after mile, independent front suspension that stood up to every test they could devise, on the road and elsewhere. A few hours on this vibrating machine, for example, is equivalent to 1,000 miles of continuous rough driving. But the coil springs and telescopic shock absorbers took it all in their stride. They also tried to shake the seats apart, but their wearing qualities were equally tough. Still, they kept on. And they kept on driving and driving. They carried out brake tests for hours at a stretch. But these quick-acting hydraulic brakes stood up to everything they could put them through. Finally, they had to admit they couldn't reach the cracking point. They'd braked themselves to a standstill. They'd driven up to 1,000 miles a day. They'd tried to overturn around 1,000 corners. They'd been trying for months on end to reach the cracking point, and still it eluded them. And so, at Dagenham, a new production moved in. Beautiful to look at, fast to move with, nice to know. A car you can hold your head up in. Whether your choice lies with the four-door Prefect or the two-door Anglia, you have beauty, spaciousness, comfort, combined with speed, safety, economy. You have five-star motoring wherever you go.
They say a woman generally has the last word. I don't know about that, but I know why we picked the Anglia. There simply matters of room. All the three children can get in the back without squashing up. Another reason is the size of the boot. We're the sort of family who never seem to be able to go anywhere without taking half the house with us. And I must say we both appreciate what Ford call headroom. I hate having to crawl into a car. And another winner with us is the wide parcel tray. But of course it wasn't only size we went for. Adjustable seats for long legs, driving pedals that cut out draft, and big curved windows at the front and the back we can all look out of. And the car is so pleasing to look at. It belongs.
And in belonging lies the secret of good breeding, of good design. As with the Anglia, so with the Prefect. Seating within the wheelbase provides space and comfort to shorten the longest journey. Simple to park, easy to move, control is as quick as a glance at the instruments grouped ahead of you. To handle a car is a real pleasure. Synchromesh gears and the smoothly operating clutch give power to your instant command. Here is safety. Safety in the wide track and the combined stop and tail lights. Here's economy. Economy in the Ford tradition of low petrol consumption, small maintenance costs, and worldwide service. Here's efficiency, elegance, effortless speed. Here's motoring that puts you 5 stars ahead of any other cars in this class on the road today.